Hi there, and welcome to the AVtransfers channel here on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Howard, and my business is avtransfers.co.uk. I do video digitization and have a love, passion, a mishigas, perhaps is the right word to use, for old video, old audio stuff. It takes me back to my misspent youth, and I hope you'll enjoy the journey with me. Today I'm taking a look at two unique items. The first one is a Marantz DCC 82, which I purchased on eBay. I need to stop doing that. It's getting expensive, and in these times we can't afford to waste money. Needless to say, the machine arrived. I thought I was going to just do a standard service and recap, and discovered that the main board, the digital board, had been harvested of all of its useful bits. So it was past the point of being restored. So I managed to get a refund for it, and I was able to keep the machine, and then went on a quick hunt across the water to the United States, where I found a replacement DCC decoder board. It arrives, and I recap it, and guess what? It didn't work either. So I'm still dead in the water with that one, but in the process, I did manage to put two different machines together to make the best of a machine. So now I have a parts DCC machine, and I have a good DCC. Well, good is a strong word, a better DCC machine. I'm not convinced, though, it's working perfectly, and I'm just very hesitant to spend big money on getting a brand new decoder board for it, because it's pretty much a dead format, and if it sort of works well, isn't that enough, right? Good enough to play a tape, so that's as much as we need. The second item I'm going to take a look at is a big heavy lump. It's a Panasonic NV-8500, back from when VHS was a cutting-edge format. And this is a standard VHS machine with linear stereo and Dolby noise reduction. No hi-fi recording.
Aha!
What's interesting about it is it has insert audio. Okay, not such a big deal. Insert video as well for a machine of 1985-86 is pretty interesting. And this machine I bought for about £25 plus shipping, so not too bad. But I really thought it was going to be a non-worker, and it turned out to actually mostly work, except for a big capstan head speed issue. And after a bit of recapping, I managed to get it back to life. So I'm going to show you a bit of that as well. I'm also going to show you how I cleaned out the insides of the machine, because it was caked in just dust and dirt. At least it wasn't mold, right? But I found a unique way to blow out the air, blow out the dirt inside. The air comes from me, trust me. Anyway, stay tuned and enjoy. So here's the DCC cassette deck now working. So this is the best of the two cassette decks. This is the board that I was able to recap successfully and get working with the best electronics. So this unit was manufactured in Germany or in Europe, because you can see the power connectors are soldered on, and it has a sort of captive plug, where the other one has a figure of 8 connection. But beyond that, they're identical. I do notice this IC gets really, really hot. And on the other one, I put a heat sink. I thought it was a malfunction, but it seems to be the same on this one. What intrigues me, though, is that the other one's board, it had a problem where the when you put the unit on, it would go into, the logic would go into funny modes. It would go into forward, and then it wouldn't play any audio, and then only after about 5 minutes would the audio come through, whatever type of tape you played. And that was a sort of a bit of a puzzle. I started doing a recap on the other one, but it didn't seem to make any difference. So this one is working, and then the other one is sitting here. I mean, this is even a heavier smoker's machine. I don't know if you can just see the dirt, and this has been cleaned several times already. So this is the one that's got issues. I checked a lot of the caps. I replaced a lot of the caps. I put extra heat sinks here, all sorts of things, and I just didn't manage to get the logic problem solved. But worse than that, the mechanism is fine. But the problem is that the board that I got with that machine, this is the board, and as you can see, it has all the organs harvested off it. So I recapped it just out of fun to see what it could do, and it only produced one channel of audio. So obviously that's no good. And this is the board that I got from America, and I recapped it. And this board is totally dead. Now I know there's a fusible resistor in here. My investigations are still ongoing, but there's a lot of schmick there along the sides of this IC, and I'm wondering if that is just a sign that it's bad. I might attempt taking this IC off and putting it on there to see if that makes any difference. But this board is complete. It's just totally dead, so I'm not too sure what to make of that. So that's going to go back in that machine for now, which is going to be a parts machine. And the other machine will be the playing machine. What is strange about this one, though, even though I've recapped the board, cleaned the heads and things like that, I found that it's still not showing me the track names. It's showing me the album title, right? But it's not showing me the individual track names. So I'm not too sure what I'm missing there. Is that an alignment issue? Or is that some of the tracks aren't reading properly? But, oh, I think it's finished now. Still a pretty nifty deck. Obviously, the tape itself sounds like it's getting a bit knackered. Oh, and here's a quick look at the spares machine now. I've put it all together because I like to keep things together. Then at least if I do get parts again later, I can work on it again. So this is the heat sink that I put on. Oh, that doesn't look very good. That doesn't look good at all, actually. So there's this one feels very loose. I don't know, that was the problem all along. Anyway, but this is the spares machine anyway, and the digital board is bad. Yes, so that's that. It's just got a servo issue. It's playing too fast. But I think essentially that's it. That's all that's wrong with it. That is a behemoth. 20 kilograms of VHS machine. Well, that is a quick recap of the servo board in a very retro, very cool Panasonic NV-8500. Here's the interesting thing. None of these caps tested bad. They all tested within range. But I thought, let me just change all the low values. All these sort of lighter shade capacitors, I've heard that they are problematic. So I just changed all of this type of color, and the ranges were 0.22, 0.33, 0.01, just really low value, one or two 100 microfarads. And here we go, full servo lock from cold startup. Got full RF, full tracking control. It's just incredible. So I'm going to get this on the TV, and we're going to take a look at this really retro, professional level NV-8500. Here's the acid test. Tape is playing. There it is. I'm just wondering if the hits are good. I mean, it's a little bit grainy, but at the same time, it might be a copy. Just wondering. The light's out behind here, but the VU meter's pegged right at the end. And we've got a solid servo lock, so that's really good.
Need more power. Need more power. Need more power.
That looks better. Not perfect, but much better. That looks a lot better now. It's just board upon board upon board. Dust, still a lot of dust needs to be brushed out of here. So, but I think it's a lot better than it was. So here's a bit more of the inside. This is the front panel. It's just the complexity of this machine is incredible. But I had to dismantle quite a bit to get in here so that I could clean all the switches. And there's also a bulb out in the front, so I'm going to try and see if I can rectify that. But if you just look at these circuits, I mean, they're pristine, they're beautiful. So I'm going to continue cleaning up inside the machine. Okay, well, here's a final look at this machine now. I've done a clean inside and out. I took the whole front panel off. I cleaned all the switches. Unfortunately, both of these switches are broken between the switch cover and the actual switch itself, and it would be quite a job to replace the switches. But I have done a very simple thing, which is just to fix the switches in this position, and this reflects how they set on the inside. The switches are working, but this is not connected to the switch inside, but they're not critical switches. It's set to line in, and it was a nice opportunity to clean behind this panel as well. So I've cleaned all that up. Also cleaned all of the other connections here, the volume, the Dolby switch now also works correctly, which didn't before, and all the different servo options. I've cleaned all those switches out, and then I got a bit carried away. This light wasn't working, so I replaced it with LED, and then all the other ones stopped working. I think it was because of the fact that that's pulling down the circuit. I think they all share the same power connection. So I ended up replacing all of the backlights with the LED array. So now I've got LEDs. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be light in here. I didn't look that carefully, but I guess I could put one in. That might be a nice feature. But it's pretty impressive. That is a 20 kilogram machine. I know, in fact, I think it's even more. And it's a behemoth, but I just love it. It's in good, clean condition. And it's playing very happily. It's just going into a DVD recorder here and then straight onto the screen. So a bit of fun there. My next mission is to get a linear stereo recording, or at least make one, because it's got linear stereo, and with Dolby and linear stereo, it should be quite impressive. And the other interesting thing is that I've picked up a DBX encoder, and I was actually thinking of connecting the DBX encoder to this to record DBX encoded audio on linear VHS, just to see what sort of quality I get out of it. just for a fun process. Perhaps that'll be the next video. In any case, that's it for now.